I think this is working. Okay, then I'll cut out this part. Should I do an intro?
Do you have an intro planned?
I try it. Yeah. Welcome to the Florida Man versus the World podcast. This is the first time I'm interviewing someone. Um, I'm testing out my friend Frank Spinelli. This is more of an alpha beta test of how this works with Zoom, recording on the boom microphone, the boom arm, and the Shure microphone, and making sure Zoom works. I've never recorded on Zoom before. Probably not the best program, but I'm interviewing someone else soon, so I wanted to test it out with my friend Frank here, and he's got his Twitch stream set up
Hi
there.
everybody, I'm Frank.
Yeah.
I just have
Uh,
like a $20 Chinese webcam.
Yeah. And we're gonna kind of go free form. There's nothing specific. If I interview someone that I don't know, there's probably something very specific that I want to talk to them about. But here, uh, Frank and I have an overlap in that we like theme parks, but I wouldn't say that either of us are Disney adults in that way. Would you say that? Neither of us
No, no, no,
have
we
you
don't
ever owned an
qualify.
annual pass?
When I was a kid, doesn't count.
Okay. Like
Never
what
purchased
for
one.
Disney or Universal?
It was for Disney.
Okay. Yeah, I've never owned one. If I lived closer to Orlando, I might have one, but Naples is pretty far away.
Yeah,
You have to get hotels anyway. So it's like already an
yeah, that
expense.
does make sense.
Yeah. It's like $800 a year, I think, and then you have to go through different levels. But for
Dude,
Epic
the one that
Universe,
I owned
yeah,
was $300 a year, and it was like goaded. Go to access to everything. You could go whenever you wanted. It was so
they don't
nice.
black out the dates on
Nope, no
yours.
blackout. Now it's like triple the price. It's so
Oh,
cool.
it's Disney's so expensive. I went to if you
Yep.
at least if you go one day, like when we went, which we'll talk about, it was pretty cheap because we did the Florida residence
Florida resident helps a
count,
lot.
and it was 3 days.
Yeah.
Which obviously it's more expensive to go 3 days than one day, but it spreads out the cost. It probably was only like $90 per day when we went. I forget
Just for the Disney ticket itself. Yeah,
for all three. Yeah, and we also had to pay for the hotel, but like
the hotel cost on top of that was
yeah,
probably a little
but the
more.
hotels are pretty cheap. Like the Coronado Springs was only like $150. It's like just as expensive if you went off property and you get all
Wait,
the.
it was $150 a night
It was like
there?
$150 to $200. I think it was less than $200 when I bought the
That's
hotel.
super reasonable then. Like
Yeah,
that's for that, like that's solid. Yeah,
yeah.
that's not bad at
It's
all.
and I mean, you could get really expensive at Disney versus. I mean,
Yes.
that's one thing that because on that same trip you weren't with me, but when my mom and I went to Universal like a few days later,
Yeah.
the the hotels are so much more expensive at Universal, and the
Yeah,
reason for that is because you get the fast pass. Disney, you
correct.
don't get a fast pass anymore unless you pay for the Lightning Lane.
Hmm.
And kind of at Universal, I think it's structured that you pretty much have to have a fast pass to enjoy it.
Universal, I think the way they do it is smart because they basically guarantee that the hotels are always at capacity because like that's the right
Yeah,
way to do Universal, and people still come anyway.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah. The
it's
unknowledgeable come anyway.
yeah, it's. I mean, that's why Disney's raised its prices so much is because people keep coming, and I think
Yeah.
attendance has gone down in like the past year, but they're making more money. It's inelastic demand because it's less people in the park nowadays compared to what it was like a
Wealthier
few years
people.
ago. And when I went in March with the mock trial team, it was $200 for me to go to Magic Kingdom for one day.
One day pass.
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
our
And that
like
wasn't even a park. That wasn't a park hopper. It was just for Magic Kingdom for
wasn't our
one
like
day.
3 day park hopper like only like 300 or like it
Yeah,
was like
but
more than that.
I went for one day with the mock trial team because I could
It's
have
$200. That's crazy.
$200 for Magic Kingdom.
So they're not looking for people just coming to for a day
Well,
anymore.
I think people do come for a day, probably, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah, true.
I did. I was like with 15 other people who paid $200 each.
Oof.
So, uh, yeah, I mean, if you go to Disney, I think
Is
I've
that $200? Is that Lightning Lane or anything good, or is that just to get in the
no, I
park?
didn't do any Lightning Lane, but it was there weren't many lines because it was March is kind of off season. It
Yeah.
was at night. Magic Kingdom might be my favorite park just for the fact that it's open so late. Because none
Yeah.
of the other parks are open that late. Like Universal closes at like 8 p.m. Like Islands closes at like 7 p.m. usually. And Disney, at least on the weekends, Magic Kingdom's open till like 11. That's why we went there that day. Because
I
if you
thought
went,
Islands was 9 on the weekends.
I mean, I can check Islands. It might be. Uh, I honestly think Universal is today, Wednesday, it's 8 p.m. But let's see if it's on the weekends. It's It might be 9 p.m. Like if I went on May 24th, it close at I'll close at 10 p.m. That's pretty good.
I thought they changed it. Yeah, yeah. So
It used to
Universal
be early.
Studios is 9 p.m.
Okay.
It used to be 8 p.m. for Islands and 7 p.m. for Universal Studios, I think.
I think they've shifted their focus. It seemed like forever, even though after Harry Potter opened in 2011, it seemed like forever they were still focusing on Universal Studios
Yeah,
as their main park because
but it's not.
it was never right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Once Harry Potter opens.
Once Harry Potter opened, and obviously I still think Island. I mean, we went there as kids before Harry Potter
Yeah.
opened. Like when it
I
was
liked Islands better.
Islands is always better,
Yep.
but I felt like they always focused on Universal, and Universal's where Halloween Horror Nights is. They don't do it at Islands.
Yeah.
When Harry Potter completely, that's one advantage that I think Disney has over Universal Resort, and is that there's so much asymmetry in how good the park is, where Universal is just distinctly worse than Islands.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So like Disney has really good stuff split
Like,
among its
yeah,
parks, but
exactly.
yeah.
I think
Doesn't Epic
well
doesn't the
that makes
Epic
it even
Universe use
worse.
that?
It makes it even worse because I think it's gonna. I mean, it makes the park resort better overall, right?
Yeah.
But it reminds people how bad Universal Studios is.
I don't think that they care about that though, because I think that what would happen is with having three parks. Obviously, everybody wants to go to Epic Universes, but you scale down both of the other parks to kind of be the same. Even though Islands of Adventures is so much better. Don't get me
And
wrong.
it, and it might make it such that it divides the the attendance where once Epic Universe opens and a lot of people are going, which I think it's opening like tomorrow. It might be opening 22nd of May.
Yep.
Uh, I think it's going to make it that Islands has less people
Yeah.
hour to hour, which will be better. Like your experience, if you're going to Universal for a few days, your experience at all the parks will probably be better nowadays. Because right now it's just two parks. And now once you add a
Mhm.
third park, you've increased the capacity by 50%. The only issue that I see with Epic Universe, which it's just an inherent thing that Universal will never be able to beat Disney on, is that
The
Disney is
property.
all the property, right? So
Property.
Universal right now without Epic Universe, Islands and Universal are right next to each other, right? So you can, it's so much easier to park hop between at Universal than it is at Disney because you have to drive between at least uh, to get to Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
You can do monorail between Epcot and Magic Kingdom are close to each other. But if to go to the other parks, you do
Yep.
have to drive. But I feel like you don't even notice that you're traveling because if you just get in your car and you're in the reservation or on the bus,
Well,
like
it's like the fake world, right? Like you pass through the
you're in the
fucking
world,
ears, and
like
it's
time doesn't really. But then in Epic Universe, you're like 3 miles away, 2 miles away from the main park, and you have to take like a
true.
bus or you drive.
Yeah.
And the problem is, what's going to happen is how would you structure a trip to Universal? Because if you went to, I think Universal Studios, the premium resorts, there's some cheap resorts that they built, but the new resorts that they built, like the Endless Summer Vacation or something.
Yes.
But you have
Yes.
like the
Like the main three hotels.
Hard Rock Hotel, Portofino, and what's the other one?
Royal Pacific.
Oh, Pacific, right? You
That's
get
what
your
it is.
Fast Pass. Those only apply for Islands and Universal. So if
Yep.
you stay at Hard Rock and go to Epic Universe, you don't get anything. You don't get Fast Pass, and you got to travel there. So you have to
Are they
drive
going
there
to? Is there going to
through
be?
Orlando, by the way. So it's not like a tunnel. It's a
No,
new,
I.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I know. It's you have to drive through the city. I'm just wondering, are they going to build hotels on the other property? Like, is there going to
yeah.
be
There
an?
is a hotel at Epic Universe called the Grand
Okay.
Hotel, which is a very nice hotel, and but it's going to be very expensive. It's going
Yeah.
to be like Grand Floridian kind of,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
so at Disney, how it's set up is the best hotels are kind of based off of how close they are to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Like the original hotels, Contemporary has the
Go,
monorail going through it.
going through it. Yeah, I know. I've been in that
Polynesia,
one.
yeah,
Been in
Polynesian's
that
very
one.
close, and then Grand Floridian's at least very close to a monorail stop. Versus when
Yes.
we stayed at the Coronado Springs, we had to drive everywhere.
Yep.
right? I mean, we chose not to go the buses, but the problem with actually the benefit of Epic Universe is the hotel you can stay at. The Grand Helios Hotel is very nice and very modern, and when you leave it, you do not have to go through a gate if you're staying at it there. So
You're at the park.
you're at the park, like
Oh,
you exit into the park. The only the
so smart.
only uh the only analog to it in the world or in the country for theme parks. I mean, do you want to see it? I can
Sure.
just
Yeah, screen share it
share.
because I
Uh,
don't know it.
yeah, let's see if I can do this.
But then that lets you charge a premium price for the hotel rooms, though. Also, if it's the only way to get fast pass, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you don't get fast pass even for
You still don't get fast pass even if you're staying in the hotel.
so the problem is I don't have screen share enabled and I have to stop recording. What if I don't want to stop. I think that's a real
It's all
thing.
good. You don't have to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, the you don't get fast pass. The only way you get fast pass at Epic Universe right now is if you have an annual pass and you only get it after 5 p.m. and the park's only open 4 more hours or 5 more hours. And people are waiting. Some people, like Matt, said he was waiting until they have fast pass. I think it's gonna be a few years because they just allowed fast pass at Hagrid's, and that was
Yep.
6 years. Because they Velocicoaster was quicker.
Yep.
Velocicoaster opened in 2021, and I think it was like maybe it was 2 or 3 years when it went to fast pass. But Velocicoaster was not as popular as Hagrid's just because, I mean, Velocicoaster is a more intense coaster. It's actually alienates people because it's
Yes.
anyone can go on Hagrid's, family, little kids can. Velocicoaster is 70 miles per hour. Hagrid's is 50 and it doesn't have inversions. So it just expands the amount of people that can go on it. Um,
Of course. It's
and
more palatable.
yeah, Universal waits to have Hagrid's a popular ride to have Fast Pass because everyone's still going to go there and it steals people away. It sucks people away from other rides. So if everyone's at Hagrid's for an hour wait, it means that they're not waiting at other places. So that's why. And if Epic Universe can maintain popularity and going to these rides without a Fast Pass for, let's say it's like 3 years. I think it could be 3 years or 2 years because Hagrid's is just getting it this year. And
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
that's their premier ride. And then basically, if you think about the best ride, like world class rides at Universal that are new modern rides. I mean, there's some great rides that are old, are gonna be Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, and that's kind of it.
Yep. It's the only ones with the new tech.
And then Universal, Epic Universe is all of it, 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's
So
yeah. It's
yeah,
so
so
game
there's
changing.
I think let's go into before we go into Epic Universe, like what we
You can
think.
send me links, by the way. I just
I
thought
can
about
send you
that.
links. I
Yeah,
can
send me links if you want me to look
text
at
you
something.
links. Text you links.
No, just send them in the meeting chat,
Oh, okay.
and I just open
Uh,
them.
oh, the chat. Yeah.
I have a second monitor.
Can react. Yeah, just so you can react. I'm gonna send you the link to the Helios Hotel. Um,
Holy crap, this looks
it's pretty
nice.
cool, right?
Yeah, it looks sick.
Um,
This is
and
awesome.
I don't think. I mean, I think it's like it could be like 800 a night. Like, let's see if I went to.
Oh, so they're giving you early park admission though. So you get
Yes, you get. I mean, they have that at Universal and
yep,
Islands.
yep.
They have that at Disney World, right? So that's normal for these sort of luxury hotels. Because we got
That's meaningful though, because that guarantees you like a reasonable wait for one of your premier rides.
I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna just pick October, just
Okay.
to, just to like
That's what I'm going. I might be going with Matt, by the way. I might try to get you in on
October.
that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say just October 11th, October 12th. That's gonna be pretty cheap because it's school's in, right? That's kind of a good time. It's not request. I'm seeing prices at like right now in the summer it's like 1,500, and yeah,
A night?
yeah.
Oh my God.
The only similar hotel to this in the country is in Disneyland in California. They have the Grand Californian, which opens into I think California Adventure, and that's like 1,000.
Okay.
I mean, that's very expensive, right? Obviously, and I think
Yes.
Tokyo Disney has the same thing. It goes into the park, but um, I don't think there's a hotel at Epic Universe besides that one. So if you go to Epic Universe, you have to go either if you're going to construct a trip. If I were going to go, I would I think you can even buy one ticket per day right now. I don't know if you could go 2 days. I would,
I believe that you're capped, right? You're only allowed to go for
yeah,
a day.
right now. I think what I would do is probably try to go to, if I were to go this summer, either you would go to Universal and stay at one of the luxury hotels at Universal and use it to go to islands and Universal on the Fast Pass for a day, and then you would drive to Epic Universe. And you
Wait,
wouldn't
can I
get
do the kids room for myself, bro?
the How to Train Your Dragon kid, the island.
Dude, this looks sick. Yeah.
Like
Wait.
that's like the Nick Hotel, right?
Dude, can I do the How to Train Your Dragon
You
kids
probably
suite like
could,
just for
right?
me
Why
though?
not? Why not?
Wait, this looks gangster. And then the normal hotel room's so boring and it's also more expensive.
That
Bro, let me
honestly,
in.
that's going to be the most underrated park in or land in Epic Universe.
How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah. The other
That's
thing,
I don't think so, only because I'm already hearing positive things about like the visuals for it.
oh, people already know, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
People already know how good it's
yeah,
gonna be.
yeah. Or besides going to Universal, I went to Universal very recently to Islands and I rode all the rides for Grad Bash and I got an
Yep.
like my experience at Universal will never be better than when I go to Grad Bash. So like even Fast Pass is gonna seem bad. So I probably, if I went to Orlando anytime soon, I'd probably go to Disney instead. So I would stay at a Disney hotel and then drive to Epic Universe for a day, and
That
then
makes sense.
just
Because you
get
can only go for a day anyway.
yeah. I want to go if I want to go to Disney soon because they're closing Rock and Roller Coaster. Well, they're not closing Rock and Roller Coaster, but it's not going to be Aerosmith themed anymore. It's going to
Yep.
Muppet, and then they're also getting rid of Muppet Vision. Dinosaurs going away to replace for which is it's
Makes
getting
sense.
replaced with Indiana Jones. So I love
Is it
Dinosaur.
getting renovated or is it like are they redoing the whole
They're
thing?
redoing. I think they're redoing the whole thing because
Okay.
that's such an
Okay.
old ride.
Yeah, I
The
agree. I
the
was gonna
whole
say if they're gonna get rid of dinosaur, they got to replace it.
Dinoland USA, which is a terrible land,
Yes.
that is going to become because in Animal Kingdom you have Africa and Asia. It's going to
Yep.
become tropical Americas. So there's going to be a lot of like there's going to be like a Coco theme thing and like or like a Encanto, and but the main ride is going to be Indiana Jones, and
Okay.
it's going to be pretty. I think that's going to be a pretty good ride. But when we went in late July, we went together to Disney World in 2018, and a lot of stuff had happened between 2018 and 2024 when we went. Like that was a huge time of growth. So when we went, I hadn't gone to Disney World since 2014 before that. So I had never gone to Pandora. That was
Oh
my
my
first time at
gosh.
Pandora in 2018. And then in 2024, I hadn't been to Disney World and since we went or since 2019 and Galaxy's Edge had not opened. So that was my first time at Galaxy's Edge, and then that
Me
same
too.
trip was my first time going to the Velocicoaster and Hagrid's. So that was like so many good rides that I hadn't been on, and that's what I like. I'm excited. That's like such a good experience when the first time you go on these great rides. So that's what's so exciting about Epic Universe is that everything's a great ride, right?
Yeah, and it's
So
all every land is new and it's all
yeah,
novel. Yeah.
the first, and if you think about the premier lands in Universal and Disney World, we're thinking, oh, there's your cat. Uh, Universal and Disney World, we're thinking about at Disney, I would say, well, the oldest one is at Universal is Hogsmeade, Harry Potter, right? So
Yep.
that was the first like really great immersive land in the country. And then
Agreed.
Disney came back and made Pandora in 2017 at Animal Kingdom, which I think is really cool. And
Really
then
good.
Galaxy's Edge, which I thought was really good too. And
Yeah,
I
I'd probably say that like the you can see like Harry Potter's still top tier, and so is Pandora. But you
yeah.
can see like the progression of the immersive worlds that they're building. Like that's why I'm so excited for Epic Universe. Like I still think that Galaxy's Edge dwarfs the other two
So you think
in terms
Galaxy's
of
Edge is like significantly better than Hogsmeade and Pandora?
I do. Yeah, I would say so.
Um, I, people it's very popular to knock Galaxy's Edge right now because people in
Really?
the theme park community get so angry about when concept art doesn't match what it looks like. Because the concept art
I
for
don't care about that.
Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be way crazier, and they're gonna have like R2D2 like riding around, and there's me Dro. It's gonna oh, it's a living city. Like, dude, they spend so much money on that, and they made probably the greatest ride in the world in
Yep.
two different places in California and Florida. So I don't care, and I think I'm
It's
also
unreal.
yeah, and I'm not even a Star Wars fan, And
I like Star Wars, but
I like Star Wars, but I'm not like a huge fan, and I
no,
don't
me either.
know all the references or anything, but I still thought it was like amazing, right?
Yeah,
So we went to
it felt super Star Wars. It might just be the novelty that like it felt more Star Wars than Harry Potter feels Harry Potter. I don't know what it is, but like I don't know, it just felt like more complete.
the problem again. There's nothing they could have done for this. I don't think at Universal at Islands of Adventure, but they built Harry Potter. It's an old park now, like it's 14 years old. Uh, Islands is so small that you can see everything around. It's all surrounds the lagoon, so you can see every single land from every other single land,
Yeah,
right?
when you're in Harry Potter,
But
you can see
yeah,
other places, and that just kills it. You're
yeah.
right. That's what it is.
Avatar is pretty closed off from the rest of Animal Kingdom because they have
It
those
is.
high rocks, and Galaxy's Edge seems very closed off from the rest of Hollywood studios.
And Galaxy's Edge felt even more closed off than Pandora felt. Like it really
Yeah,
felt like you could
yeah.
not see anything else from Hollywood studios there. The reason I feel like Pandora, like the outside, the visuals are stunning, but like maybe I just haven't gone, but like I feel like I haven't seen like a place where I'm like, oh, I really want to go in there and get food or something. You know what I mean?
And
Like, or I want
Pandora,
to.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
no food or anything, right? Because
yeah. It doesn't have
Harry
the.
Potter has butterbeer, and then Star Wars has the cantina with all the cocktails,
It was so
and then,
fun.
and then you can get like the blue milk or whatever. Yeah,
It was
that
so
was
fun.
great. Like that was, I would say, maybe besides going to Epcot, that was probably the best non-ride experience I've had at a theme park. Where you
I
just,
would say
is it better than Epcot? Like
I
walking
would say
around,
it's hard. So it's not better than Epcot, but it's like as a singular experience, it's better than anything Epcot
yeah.
has to
Any land
offer. Yes.
benefit. The great thing about Epcot is that you can go any all
Oh
the
my
countries.
god. Yeah, you
But
go
there's
wherever
no
you want.
single country better
All the rest.
than Galaxy's Edge
No,
and the
agreed.
Cantina.
Yeah, the
Um,
cantina was like that was a really like pretty fun experience. The bartenders were
yeah,
cool. Like it was fun.
they took the picture of us.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome.
Had like the coffee, the espresso, and then they have the animatronics in there. Like
Yep.
they had that guy in like the tank. I
And
don't.
the stormtroopers came and patted us down and
That
like
was really cool when they had the immersive. You felt like you were there, right? They were like, "Oh, we're looking
yes.
for resistance."
The
I've
DJ
never.
stopped playing music. The stormtroopers
Yeah,
walked in. Like it was really good.
because what's the stories that you're part of this resistance hideout at the edge of
Yes,
the galaxy, and I don't
correct.
think any other theme park has done that. Like, I don't think
No, the
Death
closest
Eater.
thing is like the magic show at the magic shop in Harry Potter, but that's like a almost like a
What do they
ride.
do there?
Have you not been? Okay, so it's you literally have to wait in line. It's like a performance ride. It's kind of like when they used to have the Sinbad, was it that they had where you watch it?
Yeah,
Or do they still have that?
The Lost Continent. I think Simba
Yeah.
might be closed.
Is it closed? Okay,
I
so
think
it
the
was kind of like that.
only thing in Lost Continent is like Mythos.
Yeah, Mythos is so good though. Mythos is gas. Anyway, yeah, you stand in line, you get into the shop, you like sit there for a while. The shop's like actually full of wands that you can buy, and then they take you into the other room, and in the other room, like the owner of the shop does like a show, and they have like some like animatronics, like
Is it
wands that come out of the
Ollivander? Is
wall.
it the old guy?
Yeah, all yeah, yeah. And he picks one random person out of the audience, and then they do like the show, and like the plants grow and go away, and then he picks a wand for you, and you give him the wand, and then you have to go buy it. And now your parents are locked in
Yeah,
to buying that wand.
the problem is I hate buying things at theme parks because then you have to carry it the rest of the day, and it's
Yep.
also super expensive. So that's
Yep.
just something I never would have done.
Correct.
Right?
I did it once just because I wanted to see it. It was good, but like the canteen is way better. Like not close.
When I have kids and I take them to a theme park, I feel so bad because I don't think I'm ever gonna buy them. Like because I'm not carrying that around the rest of the day. Whatever your wand or lightsaber, whatever you buy.
I'll see. The thing is I'll buy from on the way out because like and
Yeah,
that's
that's
one
what
of
I
the
mean.
things that Disney does really well. Is like
You can
on the
buy
way
it.
out of Disney,
Yeah,
you have infinite stores.
yeah, but you're not going to get. You're not rope dropping Rise of the Resistance and then going to
No,
get the lightsaber. That's a
nope,
terrible thing to do.
no.
But I guess the two other things that are in Galaxy's Edge that we did was because we got there early because we stayed at the hotel, right? So we had early access. And
Yes.
we were able to get in Galaxy or Rise of the Resistance in like 15 minutes.
Didn't we do it twice?
We did it twice.
Yeah,
It was like really early.
short both times actually.
Was it like 7:30 we went?
Yeah, it was as soon as this
Super
park. We were
early.
like 8 minutes late for
Because
like
we
the
got
park
off
opened.
and it was like it's still a 20-minute wait.
Yep.
Let's just
So
go
we
on.
just got back on. It was so good too. What a
What's
great
your
ride.
experience of that ride? And it seems so weird talking about it because it's now 6 years old, but I hadn't been on it since this summer.
Me either. No, no, that was my first time. So I would say, and I didn't do the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which would be like the other like kind of recent, and I haven't done Tron either. Um, but like you can just like going on that ride and then like the majority of the other rides we did at Disney, you can feel like the big jump that happened in like the last 10 years.
It costs $500 million. Like it's
Well, yeah, yeah, that helps. But even just like I don't even think they were thinking about creating something like on that scale before. Like that's like
no,
pretty
no,
like
definitely
the Mummy for like back in like the Mummy was like a
not.
monumental endeavor to do all
Yeah.
of that indoors and have like the multiple rooms and it like but like Rise of the Rebellion's like on a whole other level. You go up and down like it's crazy.
The biggest thing, I mean, the most advanced Disney ride before that was Flight of Passage and Avatar, but that doesn't
That's not close. That's like a
you
sim
don't
ride.
and you don't move,
Yeah.
right? You don't move. It's not a dark ride. So I mean, it's just like the first time when you see the stormtroopers going in is just crazy, and then you
Yeah.
go into the ship and they have the Lieutenant Beck
Yep.
animatronic. That was the most realistic animatronic I've ever seen.
I agree with that.
He was an alien too. Like it's
Yep.
great. It's and then you go in the stormtroopers and it's just like shocking because they have every single guy has individual movements. Um, and then just you go through that droid. The black droid is like leading you,
Yep.
and you go into the AT&T or that's not the eight. What is it? AT&T walkers.
Oh yeah, there yes, yes,
It's
yes.
like 50 feet high.
Yep.
It's just completely immersive, and you don't even know where you are because you don't know how deep it is. You don't see how deep this ride is from the outside because you go into
Not
the
at
cave.
all.
It's like they do a great job of making it hidden. You don't see it anywhere.
When you're outside of the ride and like in the line, like you're like going through caves and stuff, but like you never get to have like a preconceived notion of the scale of the ride until you're on it.
No, but I didn't know what it was going to be. I had no idea.
Neither. I had no
Uh,
clue.
and it's
And
like
the fact that like once you get on the moving part, because I asked them about like we asked them about how it does it. It's not on tracks
no,
at
no, no,
all, which
no.
is so immersive that it just
Yeah,
moves like it's crazy.
yeah. So it's a trackless dark ride where
Yep.
it's instead of GPS, which is global positioning system, they have LPS, is a local positioning system, and those connect via Wi-Fi, and they know where to go. Only problem is you have those the tracks. You can see the mark.
Yes.
But I mean, there's other rides that have that now. Ratatouille had that in France, and
Okay.
which I've never
Epcot.
done. Never
Yeah.
done. The first one ever was Winnie the Pooh in Disneyland Tokyo, like in 2002. But obviously, we've never been there before.
Excuse me. Nope.
But
I wish.
uh, I think Rise of the Resistance was the first, and the it's very thrilling too. Like it's like a roller coaster kind of at certain points, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going very quickly. There's the drop shaft, that's thrilling, which is very similar to the shaft at Hagrid's when you drop in Hagrid's. It's like a 15 feet drop,
Yep.
and then
And you have like the explosions and stuff, which also like adds like a thrill factor.
probably, and then I remember Kylo Ren when
Yes, when he gets
he's the Force.
his animatronic's pretty good too.
Yeah, no, that was really good, and
Yep.
I think the use of screens were very good too. Like they looked realistic. For me, Forbidden Journey and Harry Potter is not good. I don't like that ride anymore because the
That's
screens
the castle, right?
as you go to Hogwarts.
Yeah, the castle is lacking, especially if you go on Gringotts in the same day. You can like feel the difference. One of them is far superior to the other, but that ride is far superior to both of them, and it's the way it uses its screens.
Yeah, and then the other thing we did in Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, is the Smuggler's Run on the Millennium Falcon.
That was an interesting ride because like I wouldn't rate it super super high, but I can see like the appeal for kids is probably crazy.
Yeah, if you're a kid, like remember that kid
Clicking buttons.
kept crashing.
Yeah, but if we had so much fun, it was like tactile and like
I was in the back just clicking the buttons.
I was the guns. I literally just clicked the
Yeah,
whole time.
I was the
Yeah.
engineer, which is the worst thing. But it's not meant to be the best ride. Like it's meant just
No.
to like I add more capacity to the park.
Yep.
Um, was there
Still
anything else
fun.
that you hadn't gone on before when we went? Had you done the Seven
Disney?
Dwarves?
No, that was my first time on the Seven Dwarves.
I love that ride.
Listen, the Seven Dwarves is like at least of all the I haven't been to that many theme parks, but of all the kids rides, quote unquote kids rides I've been on, by far the best. Like it's a good ride.
Someone told me that it's the same as it was as intense as Or someone when I went to Universal for Grad Bash, someone told me that the flight of the Hippogriff was just as intense as the Dwarf ride,
No,
which was like that was insane.
no.
I was like the flying Hippogriff. I just went on it just to see what it was like.
I love the Flight of the
For,
Hippogriff because it always has a 15-minute line, but it's
but it's for
like an
4-year-olds.
old,
It's for
yeah, it's an old rickety wood ride, and it
you
gets up
can't
to like
enjoy
30
it
miles per
as an
hour.
adult. You can enjoy Seven Dwarves like a parent can enjoy with their kid.
It's a fun ride.
And
It's a
the
good ride.
ride and the line, that's one of the best lines with the jewels and the songs,
Yeah. Besides the fact that your kid's gonna get some disease from being in there, like it's
touching
awesome in
it.
terms of
Yeah.
how fun it is.
The only thing that hasn't aged well there, I think, is the well, they do launching there. They don't have a lift train, a
Yep.
lift hill. Is the dwarves. I wish they had actual animatronics because they project those faces onto their faces.
Yes.
But
It's weird.
yeah,
It's definitely noticeable too. It doesn't take that way much away from the ride.
no, but
The
that's
other thing I will say though about the ride is while the line is great, the ride is great. It feels out of place where it's located. At least in Orlando, I feel
in
like.
Fantasyland. Why?
It should be in Fantasyland. It's just you walk out of that ride, which is like so new, like
It is
comparative to
in,
everything that's
it is
around
in
it.
Fantasyland.
Yeah, I know it should be, but that's what I'm saying is like when I walked out of that ride and saw everything around it, I'm like, wow, this is
Oh
brand new
yeah,
construction.
yeah. Well, Fantasyland
It's like the old, like one of the oldest
is like the
lands, right?
oldest parts of
Yeah,
because you have like Peter Pan's flight, and you didn't have
it
many
just felt a
rides
little out of place.
like Winnie the Pooh. Like that's the oldest part of the park. And
Yep.
they did New Fantasyland. Then they made the expansion. If you want to look up a fantasy park, you got to go to Fantasy Springs in Disney Sea. That one's insane. That's like how Fantasyland would be if it was built now. I mean, this is a new land in Disney Sea, but I can't go there anytime soon.
Mhm.
That'd be very hard to get to. That was the only other new ride we did. Um, I think
For
people
Disney,
knock
yeah.
the Rise of the Resistance line because it's just all the tunnel, but I think that's part of the experience is that you have to feel like you're going into a tunnel hiding from someone.
Yes.
But we went really short, so I don't know what it was like if it was like a 2 hour wait for some people. It's all like if we were waited till noon, it'd be a 2 hour wait or like an hour wait or whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I just don't know how they achieve the surprise factor of like how big the room is. Like you said, like the 50-foot structures and all the stormtroopers in this giant room. Like that shift, they can't really do that without making the line like kind of like grimy and
You
tight.
feel claustrophobic kind of. And I think
Correct.
that's a
Yes.
purposeful effect.
I
The
agree.
worst line that we were on is was the Navi River journey with like the wicker ceiling, and it's
That
just
line is just it's like
you're there for so long.
you just don't even know if you're getting you never feel like you're actually getting closer is the
I
problem.
like that ride a lot. People
I do
don't
too.
like it. People, a lot of people don't like it. They
Why?
think
It's just like a vibe.
I don't know. I think they just see it as like
It's
Pirates of
not exhilarating at all, but it like looks
not supposed
pretty.
to be exhilarated. It's
Yes,
yeah,
I'm saying. Yeah,
not
it's just
everything needs to be a
pretty.
roller coaster.
I
Um,
agree. I think that's a great ride for like listen, if you're a mom and you've been at freaking Universal all day with your kid, like you probably want to go sit on that Navi River ride and just vibe for a little
just
bit.
relax. Yeah,
Yeah,
you need those rides.
I agree.
It gets tiring, and that's one thing I think that's a weakness at Universal might be mm, the lack of kid rides or relaxing rides at Islands. I mean, they've expanded it, but like at Islands, you have like Dr. Seuss. Like that's it,
Dr.
really.
Seuss was so good. Or it's a small world, right? Is that or no, what's the
That's
not it's
the
a small
magic.
world what's the one where you go around up top
That's the
at
Dr. Seuss
Universal?
ride.
No,
Are
the
you
Dr. Seuss oh yeah, I'm thinking of Cat in the Hat also.
Cat in the Hat? I don't know the difference between them, but those are fun.
Cat in the Hat is inside and you spin around in the chair. It's
I
real
remember
just like
distinctly going on
amusement
that with
park.
you,
We did, we went.
Grad Bash,
Yeah.
and no one's on it. The problem with Grad Bash, if anyone ever goes to Grad Bash, is the biggest mistake you can make as Grad Bash as a high schooler is to go on roller coasters because
Yep.
the wait is so long. And then when I went, I was like, you got to go to Men in Black. It was like 20-minute waits for all the non roller coaster rides,
We
like
walked on Men in Black, Cat in the
Jurassic
Hat,
Park, the water ride.
the water ride.
Yeah.
Every like everything that's non roller coaster is to walk on. Nobody's going on
Meanwhile,
it. It's
everyone
stupid.
at Grad Bash I saw, I didn't have to go on any lines, it was like 2 hour wait to go on Velocicoaster or the Hulk or Hagrid's
Not
or
efficient.
the Mummy. Yeah, I don't know. You got to go non roller coaster rides.
Yes.
Um, so what do you think to move to Epic Universe? How do you think Disney is going to fare with Epic Universe? Is it how much is it going to affect Disney? Because you notice they're slashing prices for this summer for Florida residents, which I think is very clearly a response to it.
It makes sense to me. It also just makes sense in general to slash prices in the summer. First of all, we're out of season. It's hot. Not as many
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
going to be here. Even though people are out of, but if it's specifically for Florida residents, it's smart because now you're incenting parents to spend whatever their vacation time is at Disney. I
Oh,
don't think Epic Universe will have that much of an effect. Being as new as it is, I guess the novelty effect is there, but for a non-theme park enthusiast, it's really inconvenient to go right now, right?
yeah, it's the only park there. And it's if you're with a family, if you were traveling, it'd be a harder, it's more inconvenient to construct a trip around Epic Universe.
That's what I'm
I think
thinking.
it's in a theme park enthusiast, it's in a bubble where we know about Epic Universe.
Yes.
Um, and Magic Kingdom has been the most attended theme park for decades. 20 million people go there every year.
Yep.
Islands was like at 5 million a year until Harry Potter and let's see now in America, in North America, it's in 2022. Uh, it's a little bit lower. Its peak was in 2019 because of I think COVID, but it was Magic Kingdom at 17 million, 7.1 million, Disneyland in California at 16.9, and there's a huge drop off after that to 11 million at Islands of Adventure in Orlando.
Okay.
So, and that's after years of people hearing about Harry Potter. So I don't know how Epic Universe is going to catch up to that. I think Islands, when it first opened, Islands of Adventure, the earliest data I can get is from 2009.
Okay.
So it's 4.6 million people. That's super low.
That is long.
I think Epic for its first full years, 2026, will be like 6 million, maybe.
Yeah, the problem with tracking Epic, it's going to be really difficult if they actually have a 1 day only restriction because they're going to be able to control exactly how many people they actually want to be in that park. It's not a real reflection of what people's desire is.
Yeah, but individual parks usually just go for 1 day.
Yeah, but not when it's a brand new park. I don't think you can go to Islands and do every ride in a day. I don't think it's going to be possible.
But do
Or I
people
mean, not Islands, Epic Adventure. I don't think you're going to be able to go to Epic Universe and actually do everything you want to do in 1 day.
with the weights right now? Yeah, without
Yeah, I
fast.
don't think that's going to be possible.
Yeah.
So I think that you're artificially maybe increasing demand because you can only go for 1 day. Like people are gonna, I don't know. It's weird because again, I would go if I was gonna go to Epic Adventures right now, I'd want to go for 2 days and hit every single ride.
Yeah, and or just to give you some insurance in case you don't get on
Correct.
the first day, right? Or if it rides.
Or if I do my whole first day there and I hit almost every ride and then I find out oh, this restaurant is actually really good and I didn't know about it because it's brand new.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do there that are not rides.
Correct.
So like I would be afraid of I would be afraid of
It's really easy for me to think about oh, I'm gonna set up my Universal trip and I'm gonna have 1 day or 2 days at Universal. I could probably hit every ride I want to hit at Universal and Islands in 1 day, easily. And I could make a plan where I get to eat at Mythos at 1 p.m. and I hit every single ride I want and I don't have to wait for long lines for the most part. But I don't know if that's possible at Epic.
the other problem is that when you have a new park, the rides they're not operating as efficiently as they're going to be. They
Yes.
haven't worked out all the kinks, and a lot of those rides are going to be down.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the issues with Epic Universe that I've been reading is that so there's 4 lands or 5 lands technically. There's Celestial Park, which is the opening one. That's the central one, and the only ride that really has is the Stardust Racers, which is the intense. It's like as intense as the Velocicoaster, but it's dueling. So it's like
That's
dueling
sick.
dragons. Yeah, it's pretty. And at night it lights up.
It's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it's like, but that's the only ride there. Then you have Mario. You have Super Nintendo World, so that's gonna have the Donkey Kong ride
Donkey Kong roller coaster. Yep.
coaster, which I don't think is gonna be very intense, but you like the effects on it are crazy. Like you jump over the
Yeah, I think that's gonna be more of a Hagrid style ride.
yeah, yeah, and then you have. I don't think it'll be as intense as Hagrid's though.
I think it will be.
You think so?
If as a Donkey Kong player, those levels were impossible. So I feel like they would want to at least make it people who care about that will at least know. I don't know how much they care about that. But like I think it'll probably be similar to Hagrid's because I feel like Hagrid's you could take your 8-year-old on Hagrid's, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. The the and then you have I think the only other one you have there is Mario Kart, the Mario Kart
Oh
ride.
yeah. Yep.
Uh, then you have Dark Universe and the rides there. That's the Universal Monsters theme, which I think that would be that's the one I'm looking forward to most when I go.
Okay.
It's the Dark ride, the Frankenstein experiment or whatever, the
Yes.
Monsters Unleashed, which
That
apparently the animatronics are insane on that, and it's
the
actually
theming looks ridiculous just from the outside. It
yeah
looks so good.
yeah. I sent you a Reddit link, and that shows you the pictures of each of the lands if you want to look at that. And they have the
Oh,
castle looks insane,
perfect.
and it completely just like blows out of the water Haunted Mansion, obviously, because Haunted Mansion now is 40 years old.
All right, so the first thing I'm looking at is the entrance, and then this is the Celestial.
So the first one's the entrance. That's no, the next one is Harry Potter.
Oh,
So
is this
that's
is
Harry
this
Potter land. That's
okay?
it's I don't think they show Celestial in this thing, but this is like the promotional image. That's Paris. That's the magical Paris.
Oh, it's from the new Harry
It's
Potter stuff.
the Fantastic Beasts.
Yes,
But
yes,
when
yes,
you
yes.
go on the ride, there's only one ride in this park, in this land, and that's the one that's getting like 300-minute waits right now, and that's the battle at the Ministry of Magic. So you're
Is
in
it a screen ride?
somewhat, but
Okay.
it's more like Rise of the Resistance, and you're on an elevator, and it's like
Oh,
it's
cool.
very it's like that's apparently that's the best ride. That and the Monsters ride are the two best rides at Epic Universe. And
Okay.
if you're a roller coaster enthusiast, then Stardust would be the best. And people are saying that that's better than Velocicoaster.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
But personally, I like the theming on rides, so I don't think it's gonna be very hard for someone to beat Hagrid's for me for my favorite roller coaster.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hagrid's insane on theming.
Um, and I don't really care about like inversions or anything, but yeah, 50 miles per hour is enough to make me like thrilled. Uh, but the thing is that you go in the Ministry of Magic, it's kind of convoluted, and you're going back to London. So outside it's Paris, and then you go to London, and they have some like fake reason why you can travel to. They have some Deus Ex Machina to go to London.
Okay.
The
Okay.
Blue
Classic
Network.
Harry Potter.
You know in Harry Potter when you go through like the fireplace.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's classic Harry Potter. Harry
Blue
Potter
Network,
just like makes up magic whenever it's convenient, and then
like
they
yeah,
also have like a
and
lot of trouble.
Dolores Umbridge, the actress, came back to reprise her role because
Oh,
that
okay,
was
cool.
Order of the Phoenix, which is that movie's like it was like 2007 or something when that came
Hmm.
out. And there's Death Eaters, like that's a pretty thrilling ride. I think it's like Rise of the Resistance more so. People are saying
Okay.
it's like, this is blowing Disney out of the water. I think that's a lot of recency bias, and I think people are underrating how good Rise of the Resistance is. I've obviously not been there, but I don't think you can rank Epic Universe right now because it's just so new. Um,
The thing that I'm noticing here, though, I don't really care for the Harry Potter Fantastical Beasts. Like, it's not something I'm super into.
I
Like,
don't
it
think
looks great,
I don't think
but
anyone cares about that franchise.
yeah, I don't think anybody cares
Because
about that. It doesn't get me excited.
think about the fact that you have a ride there and they still put the old Harry Potter characters in it. Like they're not
Yes.
putting
Newt.
Newt Scamander in it. No.
No Newt, dude. Come on. He's the main
Is
character.
that Eddie Redmayne?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're not doing that. So that shows you. I think just the theming of Paris is good, but the problem here is with one ride. If you compare this to Epic or to Rise of the or Galaxy's Edge, if Rise of the Resistance fell down or stopped working, you have Smuggler's Run to back up. On this
And you
park,
have, well, I mean, I'm sure they'll have food and
the
stuff here. This
bar.
is Paris.
But there's no other rides. It's just the Rise of the the Battle of the
Is
Minutes.
there any like experience type thing? Like not like a roller coaster or a
I think there
ride,
might
but
be a
like
show, but I don't care about shows.
I don't care about shows either. I'm talking more about like the bar.
I don't.
That's like more of
It
like a
probably is. I just don't know about it.
okay. Yeah, I don't
You
know
can,
about
and
that.
it's at the
Not
point
them.
where you could walk around, but the problem is this ride is the one where they put the most capacity on. It apparently has a 7 hour line, meaning
Oh.
the line not no you wait no you don't wait 7 hours, but it could hold up to 7 hours.
No, I know what you
And the
mean because
line
you're
is
worried
crazy,
about it.
but it's the best designed line in the world right now.
Okay.
If you look it up, it looks exactly like it did in the movie Order of the Phoenix, and then the
Let's try
final
that.
land is Alaburk.
Dude, I'm looking at this How to Train Your Dragon image, and I feel like this like might actually be my favorite when I
That
go
might be
there.
the best one. That might be the best land.
The theming is so insane on this. Like
And
this looks incredible.
the technology is actually the best there.
Okay. The animatronics for the dragons you're talking about?
Yeah, because they have the Boston Dynamic dragons.
Yeah, it's
So they
so
have
sick. That's so
they have a
sick.
toothless dragon that you can pet and he responds to your petting. And it's like life size. And then they have he's stationary, but then they have the Boston Dynamic dogs like with the four legs. They
Yep.
wrapped that in a type of a dragon skin and it moves around. Like so that's never been done.
That's just gonna be mind blowing.
Yeah. And you like the hiccup actors look very good. There's a water ride. The roller coaster, which I don't know the name of, goes through the water. So like
Awesome.
so I think that's a really cool effect. Um there's some other like spinning ride or
They
something.
just has also have so much to work with here. Like
With
to be fair,
Dragon.
we'll just yeah. Well, How to Train Your Dragon, first of all, beloved, very kid friendly, awesome world. But like dragons in general, just give you so much space to work with in terms of like theming and roller coasters and stuff. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you like.
And this makes me mad about what Animal Kingdom could be
Yes.
because they had Beastly Kingdom and that was supposed to have an animatronic dragon and a roller coaster in a mountain, which is supposed to be like a really crazy roller coaster. They don't have it, which is it was supposed to be animals of the past, present, and fantasy or something. That was like
Yeah. The thing with Pandora is that
I
that's
mean
not a roller
Pandora,
coaster.
yeah, but Pandora. I think it fits into the theme. It's not just like put in there. That's one
No,
problem.
it's awesome.
Yeah, that's one
Pandora,
problem.
it's like a alien world instead of
Yeah.
all the places on Earth. My problem with Pandora is that it's like all there's no wildlife. There's no you can't do like animatronic dragons. They don't have any animatronic like alien species.
One thing I hope, which I don't know if they're going to do for the tropical Americas in Animal Kingdom, is I wish they expanded the zoo. Like I want animals from there, and I feel like Animal Kingdom's forgetting about the zoo portion.
Yeah, it's because they have the safari, and their safari is actually insane.
Well, yeah, it's huge. That's like larger
Yeah,
than Magic Kingdom itself. That,
yeah, it's unreal.
um, in
But I'd agree with you. Like I like the zoo aspect, like kind of like the Busch Gardensy, like Bush zoo aspect of
that's
it.
why I love Animal Kingdom because
Yep.
that's Epcot and Animal Kingdom. You can just like walk around, and I don't think that's true for Hollywood Studios or even Magic Kingdom to the same extent. You can
No, I
relax
think you would
in Kingdom.
feel like you wasted your day if you just walked around at Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood
Honestly,
Studios, I don't like Hollywood Studios because it's so there's like three
it's super weighted.
yeah,
There's only a couple of things you actually want to do.
which is Rock and Roller Coaster and then Tower of Terror and Rise of the Resistance.
Yep.
And it doesn't mix in well. Like it does not thematically cohesive. It's just an IP dump park. And then but they are building Monsters Land, Monsters Inc. Land, Monsteropolis or whatever. And
That'll
they're
be fun.
the roller coaster with the doors from the door scene in Monsters Inc., which is
Okay. Yeah.
it's the only hanging roller coaster that Disney's done ever.
Gotcha.
That'll be cool. In Disneyland Paris, they do have an animatronic dragon within the castle underneath, which
Is
is
it stationary or mobile?
it's stationary, but it like is an intense animatronic. It's like a dragon supposed to be sleeping, kind of like if it
Okay.
Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. So that's
Okay.
that's considered the best castle in the world for Disney is the one in Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah. But
The one in Orlando isn't that impressive. I mean, it's a huge building, but it's just a building. You just walk through the middle of
better
it.
Disneyland is like half the size in California.
Really?
Well, because it was built in
Oh,
1955.
you're right. I didn't even think about that. It's the original one, right?
The original one, it's really tiny. I think
So it's not even like
and then
impressive on scale then?
no, I mean it's nostalgic and it's like quaint. Like it's not bad.
That's not what Disney's looking for, though.
Well, Disneyland's sort of like a museum. So
Okay.
Disneyland, when they'll take out things in Magic Kingdom, like they're filling in the river, which is really sad.
Someone's got to stop that. That's going to be like the biggest quality decrease that they've ever seen in terms of
They
like
claim Disneyland will not be affected like that because it's the only park that Walt ever visited. So
Okay.
that is the best Disney park in the US because it's basically Magic Kingdom plus Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
That I think that makes it the best. And they
It's
have,
the best single park,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'd much rather go to Disney Worlds than
Oh
go to
yeah, yeah.
Disneyland.
Then go to Disneyland. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Disneyland's not really a resort, and so I think the benefit of Epic Universe is that it's going to have it really balances in a way that Islands didn't do. It balances things for all ages.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Isle of Berk is for kids, Super Nintendo World's for kids, Dark Universe is more thrilling, and Harry Potter for older people maybe. But I
Harry
think
Potter hits all age groups.
it's
It's
all age.
very safe.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna have a lot to do. And they have an expansion plot. And either it's gonna be the rumors are expansion to Super Nintendo World, where it's either gonna be might be Zelda.
That's the only rumors, and I'm not as up to date as you are. The only rumors I heard is that they were planning on expanding and doing like a Hyrule expansion because that's the Hyrule is the kingdom in The Legend of
Yeah,
Zelda.
and I don't think they'll build a separate land, like a distinct land. It'll just be like an extension of uh Nintendo World. Because it'll be different from Nintendo World, but it's all Nintendo. Like you go there, that's the Nintendo part.
I bet you only because so far almost all of the imagery I've seen for what they've built so far for Nintendo is heavily Mario.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
because it's all Mario with
it's
pipe.
all Mario. So I imagine if they did do a The Legend of Zelda expansion, like a Hyrule expansion, it would be to the extent that like the Harry Potter area is different than the Diagon Alley area.
But Diagon Alley's in a different park.
I know, but they would have to have that much separation for it to appease people.
Probably. It probably will be separate. The
Yeah.
only other expansion I've heard about is a Luigi's Mansion ride.
Oh my God, that would go
That would
crazy.
be that would be integrated in Mario.
That would
Right.
have to be a Mario. That would
Yeah.
have to be a Mario. Yeah, because it
Um,
wouldn't make any sense otherwise.
the other things because Universal's going to go all in a Nintendo. They've built Nintendo World in LA. They've built
It's
Nintendo
it's
World.
it's the smartest thing that they've picked up in a long time.
Yes. I have a theory about one big thing that Universal has always struggled with, that Disney's never struggled with, is that, well, somewhat is struggled with. Making rides around live action movies is inherently flawed
It's
because
bad.
movies age, right? So at a certain point, kids aren't going to
People don't
remember,
know.
they don't know who Daniel Radcliffe is, right?
Correct.
But Mickey Mouse is eternal. Or any Winnie the Pooh's eternal, right? So
Yep.
having an animated character is good. And then Mario is just like Mickey Mouse, right?
Mario is
Or
as
bigger
big
than,
as Mickey Mouse. Might be bigger. Yeah.
but I'm saying it's the same thing where it's something that'll always be remembered.
It's like it's yeah. I completely
It will
agree.
age really well, right?
Legend of Zelda ages really well. Nintendo ages really well. Even like honestly, How to Train Your Dragon will probably age extremely well.
The thing there, the monsters age, that's like 100-year-old franchise. Those
Yep.
monsters. The only thing I think is going to age the worst is Harry Potter.
Yes,
I
I
think
agree with
people will forget that Paris was ever part of Harry Potter. And it's going to be more like, well, this is pretty cool, but what is it? Like this,
that.
yeah,
Loki, I was already thinking that when I was looking at it because I don't
yeah.
care about fantastical beasts.
And Harry Potter is going to have its. I think just get kids are. I don't think kids are as into Harry Potter as they were when we were. Like it's going to age, and they're making the new Harry Potter on HBO, which I don't think is going to do well. But it's like
Me
people
either.
are. I don't think kids are going to know Daniel Radcliffe in the same
No.
way they got rid of Back to the Future, which I think would
Yeah.
be a ride that be people would want. Oh, the Stardust Racers has a flux capacitor at the end on the. So it's just that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
But I think Epic Universe is going to age well in a way that other parks won't. The only issue is going to
Yeah.
be uh, Harry Potter.
Yep.
And since Nintendo is they're going all in Nintendo. They already have Super Nintendo World in Japan and California, but neither of it is at the scale of Orlando.
I know.
Um, I don't think either of them have a Donkey Kong ride. They just have the Mario Kart.
This is the first Donkey Kong ride.
And the rumor also would be they're gonna eventually their next thing that they're gonna change in the Universal Park, the next expansion, not even expansion, but a replacement, which I would be sad about, is that not this part. I'm not going to be sad about. Simpsons Springfield is going to get replaced with Pokemon.
Okay. I wouldn't be sad about that at all.
No. I love The Simpsons, but I think that's a fine land.
The ride sucks.
But the ride is terrible.
Yes.
And Men in Black sadly might go away in the future and be replaced with a Pokemon Snap ride. So it's the same ride
Oh.
system, and
But
it's
taking pictures instead. See, I see why they would do that. And even in my head, that sounds like a good business decision, but that would be heartbreaking for me.
That's the best shooting ride in the world by far.
I like that better than Buzz Lightyear. I like
Way
it
better than
better
Buzz.
than yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's
It's the
just about
best. It's
yeah.
it's it's so intense. Like it's or it's not intense like with thrills, but like
It's
intensely themed.
yeah, it's also it's like literally competitive, right? There are other you can
It's
see other
yeah, it's a
people.
video game. Yeah, you can see scores and but no
Yeah.
one I don't know if kids know Men in Black is. That movie's from 1997
Yeah, and Will Smith isn't who he used to be.
and no one knows who Tommy Lee Jones is, right? They don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're
Will
right.
Smith is not as big as he was. So, and
No.
Pokemon's kind of
Eternal. The
yeah,
biggest thing in the whole world.
yeah,
Actually, it's One Piece, right? It's One Piece, then Pokemon. No, I think it's Pokemon, then One Piece.
the biggest franchise in the world of something.
Yeah, yeah.
The other place they might do Zelda is Lost Continent, where Mythos is. That's the other thing they're wanting to get rid of. Um,
That would be genius because they could just theme that restaurant to something Zelda. That'd be easy.
yeah, that's a pretty easy switch.
Yeah.
One thing that one other rumor I've
I
heard,
could see, I could see them doing though, if because it depends on how much they want to invest into Zelda. I don't know how much they would want to, if they would want to
Zelda's
spend two.
not as popular as Mario or recognizable as Mario.
Um, yes, it's not as
Like
recognizable
if
as
I took my
Mario.
mom, she would know who Mario is, but she wouldn't know who Zelda is.
She probably would know who Link is.
Me, I don't think so.
You don't think she would even know like what the Triforce is?
No, like
Dang. Yeah, you're probably right. Your mom's, yeah, that's
you'll know
fair.
Pokemon and Mario. I only knew
But do
two.
you think that like somebody our age wouldn't know who
Oh,
Link is?
100% everyone our age would know.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
yeah. And do you think like yeah? I feel like
That's enough people for it to be a big deal.
the
Yeah.
question is like, would they want to do other areas in the Legend of Zelda, or would they just want to do Hyrule? And they probably wouldn't want to do other areas. They would just want to do the castle and the
That brings
main.
into a bigger theming issue is there's a huge expansion plot and instead of Zelda, if they could put Zelda at Islands of Adventure and what they would do instead at Epic Universe is Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god, I would lose my mind.
It's probably the best setup where you have Link. You don't need Zelda in Nintendo World. So you have it's like in Harry Potter's at every single park. So you'd have Pokemon at Universal, Zelda at Islands, and then Mario at Epic Universe, and Lord of the Rings would be at Epic Universe. Now one
Also, I think that like it's really wise to install the new franchises that they're adding into the old parks. I think that's really smart.
with Lord of the Rings.
No, no, not Lord of the Rings. To take Nintendo and or Pokemon or whatever and plug it in over at Studios and Islands of Adventure, I think is
Yeah,
like you
those
have
parks
to do
need
that.
more. Those parks need more replacement.
Yes.
And I I don't know. Do you the one place that's definitely gonna have Lord of the Rings, probably based off of what BBC says, is Universal Studios Great Britain, which is opening in 2031.
I can totally see them doing Lord of the Rings at Epic Universe and then plugging Legend of Zelda at Islands so that Islands gets like a boost.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. And then if you put Pokemon at Studios, people will go to Studios
It
just
evens
for
out. It
Pokemon.
evens out. Nintendo evens out
Yeah.
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if eventually because Simpsons they're losing the reason why is Simpsons they're losing their rights to Simpsons because Disney owns Simpsons now.
Yep.
And then I don't know what the deal with Marvel is if Marvel's ever gonna if they have a
Didn't Marvel
we don't know what the
like
contract is.
I don't know what the contract yeah, didn't I know that Universal gets to keep it for now though.
Yes, because it's right now at least contracts are secret, but right now it's east of the Mississippi River. Disney cannot build any Marvel rides that are can't build any Marvel rides that are
Such a weird way to define the space.
east of the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Any Marvel characters cannot be on a ride that are represented in Universal. So that's why they can have the Guardians of the Galaxy ride because Guardians of the Galaxy do not appear in Universal.
Yeah, they know.
But you couldn't have Spider-Man in Disney World, but you can have Spider-Man in Disneyland. And Avengers, they're gonna have an Avengers land.
But would they even do that?
They do have an Avengers campus in Disneyland.
And that feels so weird to have something at Disneyland and not have it in Disney World.
I don't know. I think it's good to have diversity. So
That's
that
true.
if you go to a park, it's like that's like what I would look forward to. If you go to California, you look forward to go to Disneyland because there's different things. And then if you went to Paris, there's less different things. But Tokyo has different things, right?
But Tokyo is state owned.
Tokyo is owned by a private company.
Yeah, it's a whole. Oh, it's not even the government.
No, it's not the government. It's a
Oh,
private
I thought it was the government.
but that's what Abu Dhabi is going to be is a private
Abu
company.
Dhabi's gonna be government owned, like true government owned.
Mm, not in
Sorry
the
if you need
same way
context.
that Saudi Arabia is. It's going to be it's going to be a private company that I think is funded by the government. So essentially government owned. But
I mean,
yeah,
it's like Chinese government owned, it's like government owned with
that's the
steps.
scary one is the Shanghai Disneyland is
Yeah,
55% CCP.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the government owned, but with extra steps, just
Yeah.
cleverly government owned, I guess. I don't know.
But Universal Studios Great Britain, which is the new Universal's opening 3 new parks in the next 5 years.
But do you think the British people can actually appreciate a theme park?
I think so. They don't have anything. In France, right now, the only major theme park they can go to is they have to go to France to go to Disney World, Disneyland.
Okay.
So they have James Bond, Lord of the Rings, Paddington, Jurassic Park, Minions, and Back to the Future is what's rumored. Lord of the Rings, I think, is they're going to be their main land to set it apart and not make it just some crappy Universal Studios park in a way that all the other Universal Studio parks in the world are kind of crappy, besides in Florida.
Yep.
Um,
They're just like inferior products.
they're inferior products. There's Singapore, Beijing, Tokyo, and I think they're just inferior products. But I think Lord of the Rings fits well in being Great Britain because it's a British. I mean, it's a New Zealand filmed in New Zealand, but it's a British story.
Isn't it? Was he British? Tolkien?
J.R.R. Tolkien is British, yeah,
Yeah, he is British. Yeah, you're right.
and it's just the movies are Peter Jackson's from New Zealand.
I yeah. Also, they filmed it all in like Hawaii and New Zealand. The thing about Lord of the Rings, I think, is like really powerful. Is that even though it kind of has that issue where we are talking about longevity with the live action stuff, you'll use like Viggo Mortensen and whatever, right, to represent Aragorn and Orlando Bloom for Legolas because that's what people have in their minds. But like that's like that story is going to be like it's like a classic already, right? Like it's like the most famous fantasy story ever.
Yeah, it has more longevity than Harry Potter.
Yes, I
So
think that it will last much longer than
I
Harry
think the
Potter.
question is what, like you said with Zelda, what world do they do? What land do they do from Middle Earth
Oh, it's so it depends on how much money they're willing to spend, but it's so easy. It's just Gondor.
or Hobbiton?
You would probably want to do the Shire,
Yeah,
but the Shire would not be acceptable for
park.
a theme park. Theming, like the theming level that you can achieve by just doing a bunch of hills with houses in them is just not good enough.
Because you can only really pick one land because of the size
Yeah,
of, unless you could just make a Lord of the Rings theme park, which would be pretty cool.
we
But
can ask Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
The issue in Europe now, Disney's internationally is having issues because they think Universal Studios Britain is going to take away British people from visiting Paris. And then Euro Disney has always historically been struggling. Euro Disney ruined a lot of what Disney is today in
okay.
1992 because it did so bad. It's the reason why Animal Kingdom never got Beastly Kingdom. It's the reason why Disney did not open their theme park in Virginia, which they were supposed to do an American theme park in Virginia in the 90s. California was supposed to get Epcot.
Was it just super unprofitable? Like, did they just
Yeah,
lose a lot of
it's
money?
a big a waste of money.
Okay.
That's
Why is
that.
it still open?
Well, it's profitable now,
Oh, okay. So it
but
just took a
but
long
it's
time.
but the and they have a very cheap other gate, which is Walt Disney Studios Park, which is by far the worst Disney park in the world. And they're trying to expand that, and I don't know what's going to happen. They're trying to Abu Dhabi is opening in like 2031,
Hmm.
and I don't know how that shifts like the worldwide dispersion of theme parks because now we have this is what you wanted to talk about is the Middle East, right? So
Yes.
you
Yes.
have
Let's talk about
two
the Middle
have,
East.
you have two countries that are really putting money into theme parks, and that's the UAE and Saudi Arabia. So the UAE has a longer history with this. I don't know if you know about this. Uh,
No, I
Before
don't.
the recession, because Dubai was like one of the worst hit places, probably the worst hit place in the world by the Great Recession in
Yep.
2008. Like they stopped building the islands. Like it's just a place of excess. They were
Dubai
supposed
is
to
a
be
fake place. Yeah, it's
there's
always been.
supposed to be a place called Dubai Land, and
Okay.
that was
And they couldn't
supposed to
build it.
be a giant complex of theme parks. Like they always say like It was always like, oh, there's gonna be bigger than Orlando. Uh, like it's
Okay.
insane. Um, but the big park that they were gonna have is uh, okay, Legoland.
Yeah.
The big one is Universal Studios. There's gonna be a Universal Dubai, Six Flags Dubai, DreamWorks theme park, Tiger Woods golf course, Marvel theme park. Uh, just all these parks, 20th Century Fox World, like insane theme parks, and that all went away. But now Abu Dhabi is investing in Abu Dhabi is different from Dubai. Abu Dhabi is investing in theme parks on a place called Yas Island, and there's a company called Maral that is funding all these parks. And right now, on this island in Dubai, they have SeaWorld, which just opened. They have and all these are indoor because it's too hot in the summer. You can't have an outdoor theme park in the Middle East. They
Okay.
have a Warner Brothers theme park, which is pretty good with like Looney Tunes and Batman based off of the cartoon. Um,
Wait, but the Dragon Ball theme park's going to be outdoor.
I don't know.
It is.
It
Well, at
is.
least all the concept images show it being outdoors.
Well, so did the Disneyland Abu Dhabi concept images said it was going to be outdoors, but they just announced it's going to be indoors. And I don't know what's
Interesting.
going to happen. I don't know what indoors means though, because like the
The
Warner,
thing about that though, that's weird to me is that it cannot be that much material hotter than Florida in the middle of the summer.
it gets like 120 degrees, and you dehydrate. It's easier to
It's
dehydrate.
120 degrees. Is it as
It could
humid as
be
it
in
is
like
here?
Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. Like, how is it any hotter than California or Florida in the summer?
Like low key, like I've been at Disney when temperatures were above 97.
Yes, full humidity.
Yeah, with 100% humidity.
Yeah.
So it's like,
They announced it'll be, but I indoors could mean it's just like shade over the whole park.
okay.
Might not because like Warner Brothers has a roof and SeaWorld is all indoors, like the Georgia Aquarium.
SeaWorld being indoors honestly makes a lot of sense. Like that doesn't surprise
The
me.
roller coasters are outdoors. So
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah, yeah.
like they have the Ferrari World and I forget, I think it's Dubai.
Dubai.
And they have the fast. That's where the fastest theme park or fastest roller coaster in the world is. But
Is Ferrari.
you know where the fastest roller coaster will soon be?
I do not.
Saudi Arabia
Is
in
that the Dragon Ball World?
Flags. Well, next to the Dragon Ball World, Six Flags,
Oh, the Six Flags. Okay.
which is not the way they structure these a lot of times now is they're gonna have so Disney right now only owns I think it only owns fully owns three theme parks of their seven resorts. Seven's gonna be in seven's gonna be in once they build Abu Dhabi. So you
And they
have
only own Disneyland Paris and Orlando.
they own okay, they fully own Disney World in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland in California, Disneyland in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
Hong Kong Disneyland. But now
They don't.
they don't own Tokyo and they don't fully own Shanghai. And Abu Dhabi will be fully owned by uh this Emirati company, Miral, which is funded by the government.
Yeah.
Which is actually a cheaper like it was Bob Iger said he's going to invest like $40 billion in the theme parks over the next 20 years. That money will not be going to Abu Dhabi at all. Disney doesn't have to pay anything to have Abu Dhabi Disneyland because it's just that company pays Disneyland royalties to own all, but it's designed by Imagineering, which is the exact same setup in Japan. So Disney doesn't have to put up any money for it, which is probably a smarter model because it does.
Yeah. The only problem with that model is like, what do you do if it doesn't meet Disney standards?
Well, Japan is better than Disney standards, but Japanese
Well,
are.
yeah, but that's Japanese people. That's cheating.
Uh,
Let's talk about the Middle East now, where meeting standards will be a lot more difficult.
well, the argument is that this is fully government run, and the government has an incentive to make it as good as possible because they want people to come to Abu Dhabi to make it a tourist hub.
Yes,
But I don't
I
know.
agree.
They're going to treat this, it's like the same thing as us owning Yellowstone as a national park. It's essentially a national, it's like owning the Smithsonian National Mall in DC. Like this is going to become a government run thing. And that was the whole thing with Trump went to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and they're
Yep.
talking about diversifying their economy away from oil. That's where all the tech people went there. And another thing they want to do is with theme parks. Same with the UAE. They want to get away from oil
Yep.
as the oil demand goes down, I guess. But I mean, do you think it's weird that a government is funding a Dragon Ball Z park?
No.
Why?
Um, do you think it's weird that Universal picked up the rights to Nintendo and to pick up the rights to Harry Potter?
It's a private company. I don't know. It's just weird that a monarchy, a theocracy, a Islamic theocracy, absolute monarchy is licensing the Six Flags name to create the largest roller coaster in the world, and then also a Dragon Ball Z.
But it makes sense to me because Dragon Ball is a remarkably apolitical
That's true.
franchise. It's beloved worldwide, like it's unbelievably internationally
Yeah, yeah.
popular. And it's like what is like so here's the thing. What else does that country have to market? Like they can't build something off their own culture. Nothing's popular enough.
Well, Six Flags, you market the thrills because that's going to be the biggest.
Yeah, but if they wanted to theme a park, you have to just steal something, right? Like you have no other choice.
What they
And
did
Dragon
with
Ball is a good
Warner
choice.
Warner Brothers and Abu Dhabi. Um,
Yeah, exactly, right? Like because they don't have something to market to the world that people care about, so you just take something that's really popular, and Dragon Ball's a really good choice.
so this crazy is gonna this roller coaster is gonna be insane. The largest roller coaster that just closed was King Ka in the Six Flags in New Jersey. Right now, the tallest roller coaster in the world is Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point in Ohio, and that's at 420 feet. Falcon's Flight in Qiddiya, Saudi Arabia will be 639 feet, so like 50% taller. That's it.
What?
Yeah. And there's like no way to beat that. Fastest roller coasters will also be the fastest. Right now, I mean, the difference here is less. That Top Thrill 2 Cedar Point is 120 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, uh, the
It's really fast.
fastest roller coaster in Orlando, I believe, is Velocicoaster at only like 70 or 80 miles per hour.
70.
70 miles per
Velocicoaster at
hour.
70.
Um, the fastest one in the world is Formula Rossa in Ferrari World Abu Dhabi at 149 miles per hour. Falcon's Flight will be 155 miles per hour. Think
Woo!
about the fact that Falcon's Flight will be twice the speed of.
Velocicoaster? That's spooky.
It will also be the longest roller coaster in the world. So it's winning every record possible for roller coasters. The longest roller coaster right now is called Steel Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan. And it's 8,100 feet long.
Okay.
And it's held that record since August 2000. The So that's 8,100 feet.
It's long.
Falcon's Flight will be 13,900 feet long.
It's doubling it? Oh my god.
Yeah.
What is the line for this ride going to be like? I mean, this ride's going to take a long time to finish.
Oh, you mean like the time you mean when are they going to open it?
No. I mean, like, if you get on this
Oh,
ride,
I don't know how long
dude, it's going to be so long.
I don't know. That could be like I think you'll get sick.
Well,
They
I'm just thinking, well, so if it's going really fast the whole time, there's no way they're putting you through 13,000 miles at 150 miles an hour. Like, that's just not happening.
so the
13,000 feet? Like, holy crap.
so that's 13,000 feet long, right? Velocicoaster is you want to guess what Velocicoaster is?
Yeah, it's like 200 feet long.
Well, no,
No, it's like 2,000 feet long.
4,700 feet. But
700. Okay.
Falcon's Flight in Saudi Arabia will be more than triple the length of Velocicoaster. Uh, the
It's like
the
unbelievable.
longest the longest roller coaster in Florida is Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, and that's 5,500 feet. Um, I mean, strangely, Florida has not great roller coasters, not intense roller coasters because we focus a lot more on theming.
Theming. Yep, it's all about
I can't
tourism.
see, I can't see any tallest roller coasters of the top 10 in the world from Florida. And
Secret used to be pretty tall, right?
let's see how tall Sheikra is. Iron Gwazi. I don't know. Jacre's 200 feet, which is really tall.
Yeah.
And it's 3,100 feet. It's only 700 miles per hour. You know what it is? I think in Florida, they have to follow the speed limit.
I don't think so.
It's always 70 miles per hour.
I think that that's just thrilling enough.
Well,
I'm
that
gonna
was
be
like,
honest with you. I don't know. Velocicoaster goes fast, bro. I feel like I'm going really fast on that ride.
I do know the rule in Test Track and Epcot was that it had to go 69 miles per hour because it was a car technically and it couldn't exceed the
Yes.
speed limit in Florida.
That's different though because test drive is like actually technically a car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think I just when I see this, I always think about throughout history, countries have always had to try to beat records with like the tallest thing.
Yep.
Like you think about Egypt having the pyramids, which was the tallest building for like 3,000 years,
Hmm.
and then um, Eiffel Tower in France,
Empire State Building,
Empire State
all
Building in the U.S. Then it was
Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa. It's like just to be tall. Like there's no reason for it to be tall,
No,
right?
but people like that shit.
Exactly. So I think, but in the U.S., because we're so dominant and like everything else, we don't feel the need to show how strong we are based off how big things are, right?
No.
But in Saudi Arabia, they need something so ridiculously big to show off and have to get people to go to Saudi Arabia. That brings me like the last question. Do you think people are going to go to Saudi Arabia, go see Dragon Ball Z and
No. I will because I'm a psychopath and I want to go to
yeah,
see
I'll
this.
I'll
This
go with you to Riyadh
I'll
and
go to
Abu
Riyadh if they
Dhabi.
build a Dragon Ball Z park.
I'm
Like
going
if
I'm going to Abu Dhabi Disneyland and Six Flags and Dragon Ball Z in the same trip.
yeah, that sounds amazing. First of all, second of all, I think that there's going to be a significant hesitancy period. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how like, but like I actually cannot imagine a world where these parks open and the world populace is just comfortable going to Saudi Arabia
Here's the thing
or
is the government is fine with losing money. This isn't Paris.
no, I know.
They don't care. It'll just be there.
But my question is, without people going, you can never break the stigma that people are going to have. So how long is it going to take for the positive reaction of people going there, if it goes well, to like kind of break the hesitancy, the stereotype of the where we're going?
Also, like where are they going to get people? Because there's not many people in the Middle East, actually. I mean, I guess you can get, because first of all, how you have to have people, there's a lot of people in Egypt, but those people can't afford to fly to Saudi Arabia. So, like, basically, where are you going to get people from India and Europe to go to Saudi Arabia? I mean, a lot of people go to Dubai, but it's not like going to Los Angeles or Paris or Orlando. Or
That's not my expectation. My expectation is that this is going to be like a hyper elite, like
if you're an
not
insane
hyper elite,
psychopath, a roller coaster psychopath.
not even that. I just think that they're marketing to people that have wealth enough that if they're interested in this particular thing, they can just fly there.
Now, one thing I will say is that, you go to Disneyland in California, Disney World in Florida, Disneyland Tokyo in Japan, your lines are terrible comparatively to the rest of the world. Japan's the worst
Yes.
because Japanese people are fine with waiting in lines. They don't
Yes.
care. And us Americans are
Impatient.
impatient. Hong Kong Disneyland, it's like 15-minute waits everywhere. Paris, 15 minutes wait. Shanghai, 15 minutes wait. I bet the wait for Falcon's flight will be like 30 minutes. Like it's not going to be crazy.
Probably
Like
because
who's
no
going?
one's there.
But it'll just be there like how the government just funds the Smithsonian museums. And they can lose as much money as they want, and the federal government will always fund the Smithsonian museums in DC.
Yeah.
It's just like
Also, it, it's a pretty clever way of like extending an olive branch to the people of the world rather than to the governments of the world. Governments don't give a fuck about your theme park, but like if you have a bunch of white people from like just random U.S. citizens flying to Saudi Arabia to attend your theme park, that like breeds some goodwill.
this is interesting. There's a partnership between Qiddiya and the University of Central Florida to train young Saudis on hospitality, tourism, and sports management. So
Yep.
UCF in Orlando is going. So there's going to be also Six Flags Qiddiya. There'll be Dragon Ball theme park. Now that could just be canceled because they haven't broken ground on that honestly.
Yes.
And then they say Qiddiya Speed Park, which is going to be like Ferrari World with very fast
Okay.
posters. And they claim, these things have crazy. Do you think anyone will go to Abu Dhabi to go to Disneyland?
I just
That's
don't know.
that
The
just
other the other problem I have is I'm not familiar with that part of the world. Is there stuff to do in Abu Dhabi?
yes, in Dubai. But it's like going to Las Vegas. It's like out of novelty.
That's what I feel like. The question is, will someone go to a novelty when they're at somewhere where the entire place that they're at is already novel?
I
You
mean,
know what I mean? Would you
yeah,
go if you went to Dubai, would you be like, "Oh, I want to go to Disney World in Dubai?" You'd be like, "No, I'm already in Dubai. This is like a theme park."
I mean, I would go, but I'm not normal.
But I
Uh,
mean like the average person. Like
yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's
uh,
like an excessive level of novelty.
yeah, you're
Because like
right.
my first instinct, even if I went to Paris, would not be to go to Paris Disney World or Disneyland.
Of course not. No, definitely not in Paris. Uh, I don't
Or
even.
Tokyo. Like if I went to Tokyo, I wouldn't go to Tokyo Disney if it was my first trip, probably. Like, I just don't have the time.
Yeah, if it's your first trip, you're not going. Uh,
Yeah.
you can't. Yeah, you can't go.
So
Uh,
that's like I don't know. That's a question. But maybe that would increase the attendance.
I,
Maybe it's
I
just
think
theme
there's
park enthusiasts.
thing is like you're going to Dubai to like ski indoors. You're not going to Dubai to see history like in Paris or Tokyo,
True.
right? So like there's actual
Yeah, if you're going to do leisure activities in the first place, then you might as well go do
Paris and
leisure
Tokyo are
activities.
real cities with real history.
Yeah, yeah. There's
So
like
and
things,
if
yeah.
if we're used to going to Disney World in a fake city already in Florida,
Orlando. Oh
it's just
God.
like why now I want to go to Disney Sea because that's the best theme park in the world and Disney World, Disneyland Tokyo.
Yeah, me too.
But like you're right, that's not your priority. That's like
No.
if you have time, you'd go to that.
Yes. So maybe it would help them because you're already in a place where the whole point is to experience extravagant novelties. So if you're there, might as well spend a bunch of money on going to Disney.
Yeah, it's these things are actually really cheap too. Like
Yeah.
to get into like the Warner Brothers one, it's like $60. Uh,
Why
the
not?
the these are they have no sources on these uh, figures on in the world that yeah, I can't see this working out well.
I I
Disney doesn't care because they're not paying for it. They're just providing Imagineering services.
yeah. And plus it isn't it it'll give them some prestige to have. I'm sure they'll build some cool stuff there with a bunch of money and Disney can be like that's ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they're going to have a really hard time getting over the hump of it's not a destination travel point for people. Like it's not on people's radar. Like Florida is like a international like I'll fly there for vacation, right?
Disney World, yeah. Disney World Tokyo, Disneyland Tokyo is meant for Japanese people,
Yes.
right? People that live in Japan, and it's very popular. And or Michael Eisner thought that Paris would be for Europe because Europe is high population density. There's a billion people or 800 million people that live in the European Union, but they didn't receive it as well as Japan because I think
Hmm.
Japan just likes American stuff better than Europe. Um, there is an extent to if you build it, they will come. They think because Florida was nothing when they built Disney World, but it's in America too.
Yeah, it's in America, and the other problem with that is that Florida was nothing when they built it, sure, and people did come, but Florida is now like one of the most affluent places in the whole world.
And Americans, if you lived in New York, you could fly to Orlando.
Easily.
You can afford in that part of the world to go to Abu Dhabi.
That's again, you're
Like
what
elite,
they're
elite rich people.
even their market here, like what Americans that would want to go there, the only people that would save up money to do that are people who have so much money it's meaningless to them, or like hardcore theme park enthusiasts,
Like me.
or me.
Yeah.
Or what if you're a hardcore
But
theme
I'm
park
never gonna
enthusiast?
go. But you're right. I'm never gonna go. I'm not flying to Dubai to go to
Correct.
like it would be part of a larger thing. If
Yes.
you go to Orlando to go to Disney World, that's your
Correct.
thing. It's and I wouldn't fly to that part of the world without flying to other places. Like I'm going to Cairo and like I'm going to other places in the Middle East, I guess, in Asia.
Yeah, taking like a month sabbatical
Yeah,
and
like
like
you'd
this is
go a
just
month. That's like if you're flying that versus Europe is quick. You can just go to France.
Yes.
And Japan has enough things where you just stay in Japan. You don't have to go anywhere else in the world.
And there's no the culture shock is also something like I feel I could be correct or incorrect on this, but like Japanese and American culture actually like works pretty well. Like a lot of like their modern
You're not
cultures.
gonna feel very. I mean, I've been to Japan. You don't feel very alienated.
Correct.
It's a
Yes.
westernized country in reality.
Yes.
It's a developed country. Same in France. Middle East is. You would feel. I've always wondered, like, what's the experience? Hong Kong is probably fine. What's the experience? You're in China as an American and you visit Shanghai and you go to Shanghai Disneyland and you
Yeah,
just. It's like a. I think that'd just be bizarre. I don't
I
know.
agree. And even China is more westernized, I'd say, than like
The Middle East.
the Middle East.
Yeah.
In terms of if we're talking about going to Shanghai Disney, which is like a very high class thing for like the average Chinese person, right? Like we're at the upper echelons of.
The government subsidizes Shanghai Disney. It's like $40 a day.
Oh, really? Oh, so people
It's
can
paid.
go.
Yeah, it's like
It's
they're
crazy.
subsidizing it so that they can compete with Disney World and Disneyland in America.
Oh, for numbers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see. 2020.
You're not gonna be able to find the profit numbers on that because
No,
China
no, no.
won't let us
But I can
know.
find the attendance figures.
Okay.
Uh, I could tell you top 10. Let's see where Shanghai is. Shanghai Disneyland is the fifth most attended theme park in the world. Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Disneyland in California, Universal Studios Japan, Tokyo Disneyland, and then Shanghai Disneyland. And Shanghai Disneyland in 2023, it was very low for 2022 because of COVID and China was like, is 12.5 million people, and Magic Kingdom is 7.7 million, which is in Asia.
Okay.
So it's I don't know if that's going to continue to grow. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. China has enough people. Like they have infinite people to go there.
That's the way more people than we do.
Yep.
I wonder if they'll ever make Disney World India. If they, I don't know if they'll ever. I don't know if what's the next resort. They haven't. They the last time they built a resort was in Shanghai. That was 2016, and Abu Dhabi will probably open in 2031. So that's a 15-year difference. And the one before that was Hong Kong. That was 2005.
India would be the right spot though. That's like the next up and coming country. That's
They talked about Australia because that's fewer
they don't
people.
have enough people.
They have more money, right?
Yeah, but they don't have people. It's also
Brazil,
just inconvenient as hell for people to get to Australia.
yeah. There's only 20 million people on this giant island.
And also like flying there like is far away for everybody
Yeah.
in the whole world. Except for like Japan. Japan can fly there, I guess.
All right. I think this sufficed for me testing out.
Suffice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Great conversation. I hope it's valuable.
It's a good testing out of my alpha test.
Yeah, you can cut. Also, you're gonna